blueberry harvesting. Between Folly Mountain and Wentworth, there are 4 cave or tunnels that you can explore. I think 3 of them are tunnels that are punched under the train tracks, and one of them is a cave. I also think it was probably like diverted for the rail system. I'm not sure if it goes directly under the train tracks, but anyways, so we'll say tunnel / cave depending on how you look at it. We're at the Wentworth Falls today because it is one that I haven't walked all the way through. I have this headlamp here my father-in-law gave to me. Thanks for that. It's thoughtful and it's going to come in handy today. And on the way home, I'm also going to stop at the first place I actually started filming a YouTube video at, in just the bottom of Folly Mountain in Londonderry, by the big train bridge. There's a tunnel there. I walked through it when I was a kid with my grandfather fishing. He was a Korean War vet. He loved to fish. He loved to take me fishing with him. I miss him. This video is for you, Grampy. All right. So this time of year is a good time to explore these caves and tunnels because the water's so low. You can't even hear the falls, these Wentworth Falls, until you're almost there. You could see them before you start to hear them because the water is just extremely low. So most people that come to the Wentworth Falls know that the water emerges at the top from a cave. You can't quite see it from the base of the falls, but if you've never been here, you're planning to come, there's a cave at the top of the waterfall, and that's what we're going to explore today. I've been to all the ones I'm going to mention in this video and share the clips from. So there we go. That's the Wentworth Falls. Looks more like the Wentworth mossy cliff today, but if you come here, if you've never been here before, it's the easiest falls to get to in the area. I walked in within the time I was talking to you, basically. And anyway, you come to the falls, and I'm gonna extend this out a little ways. Yeah, you come to the falls after 2 minutes of flat ground walking. I took my grandmother, who's in her 80s, and my, at the time, little boy when he was 4. They made it in no problem. She might have a different story, I don't know. But so if you come back when you're heading out of kind of like the base of the falls area, there's a when you're headed back on the right hand side, you'll just kind of see some tree trunks, trees that were cut down, and then over here, these exposed roots. If you walk up there, you'll see there's basically a worn footpath, and that's going to take us to the top of the falls. This one's kind of steep. You want to have good footwear, although I've probably done it in sandals before. I've taken my daughter when she was probably 7, 8 with my nephews up here. They did it no problem. So it can get a little bit slippery if the mud kind of gives way, but it's not bad. I wouldn't take Spencer up here yet. That day will come. So right here, you don't go all the way to the top. You go about maybe 15, 20 feet up, and you turn. There's a little Y, if you notice, along the ridge here. You want to follow that. You'd eventually figure this out if you went all the way to the top and looked down, that you'd have to come back down. So you come out on the top of the, basically where you can see from the base of the falls, that's where you come out. And So you gotta do a little bit of climbing. And then you're at a tunnel. So, I was gonna adjust my levels, but the waterfall's so quiet, I don't think I need to. So, I'm gonna put you in my back shoulder for a minute. So like I said, another reason why I chose to come today, I've tried to come through here before, and it was kind of deep. I didn't want to get soaked. Today, the water's super low, and I have a light. So let's do it. Turn the light on. Okay, so just picking back up. I just wanted to make sure that my audio is recording decently. I'll get this light out of your face, get you back. Hopefully your lighting's good. Gotta say, I love the headlamp. My hands are pretty full usually with camera gear and trying to hold on to stuff so I don't fall. Oh, there's some fish. Look at that. Hi, fishy. I don't know if you guys, where'd he go? Man, he's stuck. You can't go anywhere, buddy. Fish, yep. All right. Fish in the tunnel. Not very big, but I'll try not to disturb you too much, pal. Any fish in this pool? Nope. Another fish. Looks like a little trout. These guys are just fly over the waterfall. Loving the headlamp. It's actually nice and bright. There's some weird goo. I'll show you the weird goo. You don't expect to come across weird goo in your cave. Kind of green, slimy looking stuff. Okay. Continuing along. Hopefully the reverb's not too bad on the recording. That's interesting. Take a look at this. You can see the change in the rock. That's pretty cool. We must be under the train tracks now. It must be granite or something that they put in to support. I talk like I know what I'm saying. I have no idea. Another little fish. And we're coming to the other side of the tunnel. All right. That's a neat little exploration. I would definitely bring older kids to that one. That's a fun little one. I imagine the kids would get a kick out of it. We're here on the other side. I'll tilt back a little bit. You can see the drop off there would be quite dangerous. You'd want to stay far away from that. Imagine that could be bad news if you fell off that, but all the times I've been to Wentworth Falls, I've never been through this side, and I've probably been to the falls a dozen times. Okay, so the next tunnel on the list, and this is headed back towards the main highway, I guess, would be towards New Brunswick / Halifax. It's the Harty Brook Falls. It's about 1.5 kilometers up the highway, the old highway here, on the side of the road. I'll put a marker, GPS marker, in the comments, or sorry, in the description, so you can check all these out. I'll have the coordinates of all of them. So I thought I had some pretty good footage of the Harty Brook Falls and Tunnel because I've been there several times. I couldn't find the original stuff. I had some clips on YouTube that weren't quite good enough for this video, so I came back here on a different day. I'm just going to quickly fast forward the hike up to the falls and then up to the tunnel. And here you can see it's a pretty big tunnel. The entryway is pretty big anyways. The tunnel itself isn't very long. It's easy to walk through, and the water's fairly shallow. Another good one for this time of year, or probably any time of year if you have the proper footwear. After a very quick walk through to the other side of the tunnel, you can see that there is a little bit of a slope that you have to climb, because there's actually a waterfall that leads into the tunnel on this side. And the rocks look slippery, but they're really not that bad. I was able to climb out fairly easily, and it's a nice looking spot to come any time of year, because if there's more water flowing, then you get a waterfall flowing into the tunnel on the other side, and when it's shallow, it's easy to climb out and you don't get too wet and you can get to the other side. So that's pretty much it for the Harty Brook Tunnel. I'm gonna head over to the baseline road that is as I head back kind of towards Halifax area. Baseline road is a couple kilometers in that direction. It's a dirt road on the right just past the train tracks. I'm going to turn down there 0.5 kilometer. On the right, there's a brook that goes under the road, a bridge that goes over a brook, I should say. You follow that brook up and you will see another tunnel on what, as far as I know, it's actually called the Tunnel Brook. I think there's a couple old mining adits along there. You can see one that's been closed over on the other side of the tunnel. That's pretty neat. So I'm going to jump over to some old footage I have that's pretty good of that little hike through that tunnel. And then I'm going to meet up with you guys the last place by the Londonderry train bridge. All right, got my rubber boots on. Let's head in. Not too deep, given that there was a hurricane a couple days ago. All right, made it through the tunnel, didn't spill a drink of coffee, and didn't get my feet wet. I'd say that's a success, you know? So we just left the Tunnel Brook Falls, and now we're by the Londonderry Bridge, as you can see. Like I said earlier, this is the first YouTube video for my hiking stuff that I made. My first vlog was here. I didn't enter the tunnel, and I have not been down here since I was a little boy fishing with my grandfather. I think I was like probably 8 or 7 or something. So it's time to actually go through the tunnel to the other side. Let's see what we see. Let's get some lights on. Lights on? Yes, sir. All right, I'll put you guys over my shoulder. Like last time. Make sure the car is locked. And let's go. This is a pretty short one. Deeper water. So all these, even on low water days, you're gonna want to probably have rubber boots unless you don't mind getting wet. Might be a little easier to cross on the other side. It's a little bit of a deep pool right here. Got a little bit of a leak in my left boot. Whew. Almost took in water there. Almost. But it didn't. No, spoke too soon. Took a little bit in the right side. This is tricky. This is tricky to not get too soaked. All right. Let's keep going. It's a nice temperature though. What are we looking at? This one's a little trickier because if you don't want to get too soaked, and I'm already a little bit wet, you got to crisscross and you got to know where to look. Luckily, I got a headlamp on. Strongly recommend that one if you're going through the tunnels. And just like that, we're on the other side. All right, guys, girls, women. So that's gonna do it. Hopefully, this list of 4 tunnels you can access between here. This is like Londonderry, the base of Folly Mountain, through Wentworth Valley. We're talking like 15 minutes to do the whole stretch of driving. And each of them are basically off the highway. This is the easiest one, but it's the deepest one. One thing I will say, one thing I want to remark on, you know, after putting the light on and going through, I didn't see any big bugs or bats or anything like that if you're a little bit squeamish in the dark. So I do recommend getting a headlamp, some rubber boots or water shoes if you don't want to get wet. Go when the water's low, and it's a fun day maybe to take the kids out and explore. That's gonna do it. Thanks for sticking along to the end, guys. I'll see you in the next one.